Sit up here.
We'll find out all in good time. Of course you are, I guess. We'll find out who pooped in there. Call this meeting of the Common Council to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kraus.
Here.
Horn.
Here.
Fire.
Here.
Peachy.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Brandel.
Here.
Lars. Tully.
Here.
Alderman Lars is excused this evening. This time we'll entertain public participation. Anyone wishing to address the council may do so. We ask that you please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, move on to a mayoral proclamation commemorating City of Jefferson Adult School Crossing Guard Recognition Week. Whereas Wisconsin's adult school crossing guards provide an invaluable service in helping to ensure the safe passage of our youngest, most vulnerable pedestrians, children walking between home and schools. And whereas adult school crossing guards typically serve with a dedication that discounts the rigors of harsh weather, split shifts, and heavy traffic. And whereas for more than 5 decades, adult school crossing guards have served communities across Wisconsin, and that service has helped to drive down the rates of young pedestrian deaths and injuries despite increases in traffic volume. And whereas Gerald and Margaret Keither have served as our City of Jefferson school crossing guards since September of 2015. And whereas adult school crossing guards add to the effectiveness of the student safety patrol members with whom they often serve and whose activity they help direct. And whereas adult school crossing guards help reinforce in the minds of the young people that they assist the importance of traffic hazard identification and safe street crossing behavior. Therefore, be it resolved that January 14th through 18th, 2019 be declared Adult School Crossing Guard Recognition Week in the state of Wisconsin and the City of Jefferson this 15th day of January 2019. Thank you. This time we'll move on to resolution number 100, the consent agenda. Alderman Tully, please.
Thank you, Mayor. City of Jefferson resolution. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the consent agenda for January 15, 2019 is hereby adopted. A, we had vouchers payable for December 2018 in the amount of $63,140.29. And vouchers payable for January 2019 in the amount of $120,048.87, and December manuals in the amount of $23,960.20. Payroll summary for January 4th, 2019 in the amount of $164,843.28. B, we had council minutes from the January 2nd, 29 of the Common Council. C, we had licenses as approved by the Regulatory Committee. For operators licenses, we had Emma Moheim and Jeffrey Ness for Speedway Gas Station. 2, we had special Class B licenses. We had 1, we had a beer license for the Fort Atkinson Wisconservation Club Annual Banquet for the Fort Atkinson Wisconservation Club, March 18, 2019, out at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderwoman Byer. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye. As Sarah calls your name, no if you're opposed.
Alderman Horn.
Aye.
Fire.
Aye.
Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Brandel.
Aye.
Tully.
Aye, except for the minutes.
Kraus.
Aye. Thank you. It's unanimous with one extension. Proposed ordinance number 1-19, an ordinance to amend conditional uses of the BHN Highway District Neighborhood Business and BC Central Business District. Alderman Peachy, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Upperman, fellow council members, citizens of Jefferson. City of Jefferson Ordinance Number 1-19. The Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin hereby ordains as follows. Number 1, Section 300-29, Parent F of the City of Jefferson Code of Ordinances is repealed in its entirety and restated as follows. Single or multiple dwelling units on the second, third, or higher floor of a principal structure in which the ground floor is devoted to a business or commercial use in the BHN Highway, the Neighborhood Business District. Number 2, Section 300-29, Parent H of the City of Jefferson Code of Ordinances is hereby repealed in its entirety. And number 3, this ordinance shall take effect after passage, publication, and attestation as required by law. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Tully. And discussion? Tim, you want to give us just a
Just,
recap of this, please?
just really quickly, first of all, this comes at the recommendation of the Plan Commission, and what this really regards is that under our existing zoning ordinance, under certain circumstances, typically through the conditional use permit process downtown in the central business district, someone could apply for a conditional use to put residential on the ground floor, which has typically, historically been reserved for a business activity. This amendment basically no longer recognizes that as a conditional use and simply doesn't allow it, period. And we did that because from time to time, we get people interested in converting their building in the district to first floor residential. And historically, that's just not the intent of the ordinance. But I think, Chris, generally speaking, that's what we're doing.
That's it. And it came up when the old Crick law firm asked for a conditional use permit, and they could have put a residence on the ground floor. And again, it's a bad zoning idea. So we're just cleaning it up.
So we're taking away any, I guess my concern is, I'm thinking of Terry Kaufman's building, where that is, that we had an option there, and we're taking away all our options with this change.
Well, this
Correct?
wouldn't be retroactive. It'd be prospective, of course.
Correct. In the future, we're taking away any option.
Yeah. The ordinance is passed in its present form, or its proposed form.
That's my only concern, is that we are taking away all of our, any future option. And do we want to do that, restrict ourselves?
I think it's good zoning. You know, he's grandfathered in, so that property will stay.
Yeah.
But down the road, it's.
Another reason we're doing this is by virtue of some changes at the state level, is getting harder and harder to deny requests for conditional use permit. So the way to get around that, of course, is to remove potential conditional use application. And that's another reason why we're proposing this.
Okay. Because we've already allowed it, we've made it harder for us to say no.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
And this is only in the BHN Neighborhood Business District, doesn't affect any other areas within the
Central business district.
central business,
downtown.
okay. So downtown area.
Yes, that's right, Jim.
Do we have any, I don't think we have anything currently that meets this, that there's residents below or on the first floor, or?
Not downtown. I think Peggy's example of Terry Kaufman would be the closest that I could think of.
And which facility is that?
It used to be, if you turn the corner across from the church, it used to be old feed, I think it was a feed store.
It's on North Center.
Meffen's Feed, and,
The old Hager Bottling Works.
yeah. On the same block as Bonton, kind of.
We've had other people interested, though. I know Harder's Saloon was interested in making that into apartments on the ground floor at 1.2, but that was,
Okay.
Any other comments? Hearing none. All in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Alderwoman Byer.
Aye.
Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Tully.
Aye.
Kraus. Horn.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you. Resolution number 101, resolution to authorize the hiring of Town and Country Engineering Incorporated for design services for the 2019 street improvements. Alderman Brandel, please.
Honorable Mayor Opperman, fellow council members, citizens of Jefferson. City of Jefferson Resolution Number 101, authorizing hiring of Town and Country Engineering Incorporated for design services for the 2019 street improvements. Whereas Town and Country Engineering Incorporated has provided the city of Jefferson a proposal and contract for providing design services for the 2019 street improvements consisting of East Greenwood Street and additional streets considered as alternatives. And whereas proposed services include completion of a topographic site survey, preparation of engineering plans and specifications, bidding services and providing digital design to the city of Jefferson. And whereas the street committee recommends retaining Town and Country Engineering Incorporated for design services at a cost of $9,300. And now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that it herein approves an agreement to provide design services with Town and Country Engineering Incorporated at a cost of $9,300. Be it further resolved by the Common Council that the city administrator is authorized to execute said agreement on behalf of the City of Jefferson after review by the city attorney. I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Miller. And discussion?
I can explain this briefly. Again, this is our 2019 capital improvement plan at East Greenwood Street. East Greenwood has been on the capital plan for, our 5-year capital plan for some time. That is probably the, from a Whistler rating, probably our lowest rated street in the city at this point. I would also note that this contract also has a utility portion beyond the $9,300. It's going to be considered by the Utility Commission next week. So at this point, we're just looking for the design services for the streets, storm sewer portion, and we're anticipating probably a construction early to midsummer in conjunction with the utility work.
Thank you, Bill. Does anyone have any questions of Bill?
Are you looking for this to be a full, something like Center Avenue, or what kind of?
No, at this point, there is no sanitary work that's being done on the project. This will be similar to last year's, the last 2 years' projects where we'll be doing spot curb repair on Greenwood. At this point, we are evaluating whether or not we're going to have to do full base reconstruction, or if we're just going to be doing pulverizing. We're going to bid both to be able to give us the options. Depending on how the numbers come in, we're hoping to be able to do an additional street, but we won't know that at this time. The only utility portion of the project is going to be a water main replacement.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of resolution number 101, please signify by saying Sarah calls your name, and all if you're opposed.
Alderman Peachy?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Randall?
Aye.
Tully? Kraus? Horn?
Aye.
Meyer?
Aye.
It's unanimous, thank you. Resolution number 102, a resolution authorizing hiring of MSA Professional Services Incorporated for design services for the Gulf Drive extension. Alderman Miller, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, fellow council members, and citizens. City of Jefferson Resolution Number 102. Whereas Gulf Drive is planned in 2019 for extension from its current location south of East Rhino Street to its terminus at Clancy Street, and whereas a portion of this street will be a public street and a portion will be a private through street, and whereas MSA Professional Services Incorporated has contracted with Jim Keene for designing the private portion of this roadway, and whereas the Streets Committee recommends retaining MSA Professional Services Incorporated for design services of the public portion of the roadway and water main at a cost of $28,300. And proposed services include completion of a topographic site survey, preparation of engineering plans and specifications, and bidding services. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that it herein approves an agreement to provide design services with MSA Professional Services Incorporated at a cost of $28,300. Be it further resolved by the Common Council that the city administrator is authorized to execute said agreement on behalf of the City of Jefferson after review by the city attorney. I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Kraus. Any discussion? Bill, you want to address this?
Sure, I can
please?
explain this. On the screen, I've got the preliminary plat of Gulf Ridge Estates. Gulf Drive currently extends north approximately 100 feet from East Clancy and extends south from East Rhino Street down to the current location by the golf course. The proposed extension would connect these two streets through the spine of the golf course. The extension's based on the preliminary plat that was submitted by developer Jim Keene, who's here tonight. It includes a 41-lot subdivision. That preliminary plat was approved by the Plan Commission in February of 2018. The roadway extension includes a public portion located in the city's tax incremental district 7. That's approximately 600 feet on the north end of the plat. As you look at that, it's just to the north of the areas that does not include single-family lots. The extension of the Gulf Drive will also include that'll be a public portion that's included in the TIF. The rest of that road extension to the south that runs through the spine will be a private portion or private roadway that'll be designed and constructed by Mr. Keene, with the exception of the water main. The water main will be a TID expense and paid and designed for and constructed by the city. Once constructed, the water and the sanitary would be dedicated back to the city. The contract proposal that's in front of you tonight is for design, topo, and bidding services to be able to get the road designed this winter and get to a bidding process later this year in 2019. Mr. Keene has signed his proposal for proceeding with MSA. The intention is to have both the city and Mr. Keene's projects move concurrently in an effort to reduce construction costs as well as reduce design costs. So the proposal for the city is not to exceed $28,300. The anticipated schedule is to complete the design and bid specifications by April of 2019, with bidding planned early May of 2019 and a planned construction later this year. And I would say that the funds to pay for the design is coming out of the TID 7 budget.
Thanks, Bill. Does anyone have any questions of Bill?
The last resolution for Greenwood,
Yes.
we had completion of topographical site survey, preparation of engineering plans and specifications, bidding services, digital design to the city for $9,300. How come this is almost 3 times the cost?
So the
I don't-
Greenwood Street is a maintenance project.
Okay.
This is a complete construction of a new street, design and construction of a new street. We're also designing the water and all utilities in the public portion of it. So this is essentially taking rather than an existing design, you are constructing a street from start to finish.
Anyone else? Hearing no other questions, all in favor of resolution number 102, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Tully.
Aye.
Kraus. Horn.
Aye.
Fire.
Aye.
Peachy.
Aye.
It's unanimous, thank you. Resolution number 103, a resolution authorizing the withdrawal from the agreement with HP Fans Incorporated. Alderman Horn, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, council members, and citizens of Jefferson. City of Jefferson Resolution Number 103. Whereas the City of Jefferson, the city, has previously entered into an agreement, with HP Fans Incorporated, HP Fans, in which the city would provide certain monetary sums and services to HP Fans for it to put on a festival in the city, with the exception that HP Fans would reimburse the city in full. And whereas the agreement was amended to provide inter alia, is that my, okay,
Close enough.
that Either party could terminate its involvement with the agreement by providing notice to the other party of its intent to do so prior to January 31st in any year the agreement is in force. And now therefore be resolved, the city hereby elects, as of January 15th, 2019, to terminate its involvement with HP Fans as set forth in the agreement as amended. In terminating this involvement in the agreement, the city is no way waiving its rights to be reimbursed by HP Fans as set forth in the agreement. City staff is hereby authorized to give HP Fans notice by first-class mail of the city's decision to terminate its involvements in the agreement. I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Kraus. And discussion? Tim, you want to speak to this action?
I think Chris's resolution is pretty straightforward. You'll recall that back in November, we extended the current agreement 60 days. That takes us to about the end of the month. This is the last council meeting prior to that date, so this really would be the time for you to take action on the resolution withdrawing from the city's future involvement with the festival.
Anyone have any questions?
Have we had any input or response from HP Fans in regards to this, or?
Yep, I will be honest, I haven't communicated with Scott Kramer since about Thanksgiving, about the time of that meeting when we extended, so I haven't been able to reach him, so I guess at least for me, the answer would be no.
Okay.
Have you received a reply from the letter you sent?
The collection letter? I have not sent that yet. I was going to wait till the council took the action tonight. And if we elect to withdraw, they'll go out tomorrow. But I have not heard from them otherwise.
Okay. All right. So I'm assuming, I have a feeling how this is going to go. This won't, we still can go ahead if we wish to and pursue any means to get our funds back,
As the
correct?
resolution so states, we reserve that right.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of resolution number 103, please signify by saying aye. As the chair calls your name, no if you're opposed.
Alderman Brandel.
Aye.
Tully.
Aye.
Kraus. Horn.
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution number 104, a resolution to hire a part-time patrol officer. Alderman Kraus, please.
Resolution which?
104.
104.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Mayor, fellow citizens, fellow councilmembers, citizens. Whereas Chief Pledgey has to fill this vacant position of police department for part-time patrol officer, and whereas the open part-time patrol officer position was recently vacated by a resignation, and whereas Police Chief Pledgey is recommending that former part-time Jefferson Police Officer Justin Jeske be appointed to the rank of part-time patrol officer by the city of Jefferson to fill the vacated position. And whereas the Personnel Committee, having reviewed the qualifications of former part-time police officer Justin Jeske, and pursuant to Chief Pledgey recommending the hire of Jefferson part-time police officer Justin Jeske to the rank of part-time patrol officer to the Common Council. And whereas the Chief of Police has part-time funds allocated in his 2019 approved operating budget, and that this part-time patrol officer is to replace a current vacancy in the part-time patrol officer staff. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the Chief of Police is authorized to promote
former Jefferson part-time police officer Justin Jeske to the rank of part-time patrol officer effective Wednesday, January 16th, 2019, as a part-time patrol officer for the City of Jefferson Police Department. The initial rate of pay shall be $16.50 per hour pursuant to the 2019 City of Jefferson non-represented pay resolution. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Alderman Brandel. And discussion?
This was unanimous at personnel earlier.
Thank you, Ron. Chief, did you add anything you'd like to add?
Justin worked for us in 2014, left in 2015, went full-time in the city of Jefferson, where he's still employed. He maintained contact with Captain Lutz over the years. Outstanding young officer, knows the city very well. This is really a win-win for us because all we had to do is teach him the records management system and very short field training, and we can get him out on the street. And we don't have to pay field training costs or anything along those lines. So this is really a great hire for us.
Good. Does anyone have any questions of
So
Chief
he's going to
Fletcher?
work full-time in Milton and part-time for us?
Correct.
Okay.
This was unanimous at personnel.
So then we just work around his full-time schedule, correct?
Correct. But when we have 3 other part-timers, one's in recruit school right now, so we split the hours up. We try to limit it to 20 shifts, 20-hour shifts a month.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of resolution number 104, please signify by saying aye. Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Alderman Tully?
Aye.
Alderman Kraus?
Aye.
Horn?
Aye.
Fire?
Aye.
Peachy?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Randall?
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you. Resolution number 105, a resolution approving of the Suburban Mutual Assistance Response Teams SMART Agreement. Alderwoman Byer, please.
Honorable Mayor, council members, and citizens, City of Jefferson Resolution Number 105. The resolution to approve the Suburban Mutual Aid Response Teams Agreement. Whereas the Suburban Mutual Assist Response Team, SMART, have effectively provided law enforcement mutual aid to its participants since 1994, and whereas the SMART Mutual Aid Agreement has not been substantially updated since 1994, and whereas the SMART Mutual Aid Agreement is in need of updating to address certain inconsistencies within the term and due to changes in the law, and whereas we have received a recommendation from our Chief Executive Law Enforcement Officer recommending that we enter the SMART Mutual Aid Agreement, which will update and replace the current agreement and allow for our continued participation in this cooperative mutual aid to better serve our municipality and region. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body for the municipality named below that the SMART agreement is hereby approved and the officials named below are authorized to execute the same on behalf of the municipality. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Peachy. In discussion? Chief?
This has been something that we've been part of for many, many years. This is in the case of a man-made or a natural catastrophe that we can call up at a certain level and get numerous officers, not only from Jefferson County, but from surrounding counties, to respond to a staging area where we can control them through an emergency operations center if we have to deal with something unfortunately like that. This cleaned up some of the language understanding the mutual aid obligations that each community had as part of, pay and stuff like that and the liability that goes along with that. Attorney Rogers did review it for me and was comfortable with it as well. It's a great program. It's similar to Mavis that the fire department does with their mutual aid agreements, and I pray we don't have to use it, but it's great when you have this kind of resource where we can literally get 100 officers here if we need to.
Thank you, Chief. Does anyone have any questions?
So this is separate from Mavis? This
This is
just police and
This
then
is the
fire
police
side?
side and the fire side, and in all of our emergency operational plans for the city and my policies for mutual aid responses and our emergency operation checklists and plans, SMART is basically it's married into all of that. So, but yeah, it is separate.
Okay.
The changes in the terms and conditions from the new agreement were adequate or?
It more clarified if you want to go into it, Chris, a little bit.
Well, basically, we have to pay the officer's pay. If we send an officer to another municipality and vice versa, the agreement would allow the city to invoice the requesting municipality, but the chief tells me we rarely do that. And the agreement also deals with liability issues and things like that.
So we're not liable for someone coming in?
But, well, the way the mutual aid, they actually, yes, essentially we're responsible for our officers if they go up to another jurisdiction. So we would still maintain that liability, even though they're going to be acting under another department, under the SMART agreement, under mutual aid. So they could be assigned out by them, but we still have workman's comp if they get hurt or anything like that. We would have to eat that just like if that happened in our community.
And vice versa, yeah.
Everybody, yeah.
Those
so-
coming in, their offices would be under.
Correct. And as Attorney Rogers pointed out, there's, in all the years that the SMART incidents I've been involved in, we don't bill out for the time. If we have 1 or 2 officers we can send, we just get them to rock up to wherever the call is, the staging area, do what they got to do as part of a team effort to deal with the client.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone have any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of resolution number 105, approving the SMART agreement, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No, if you're opposed.
Alderman Kraus?
Aye.
Horn?
Aye.
Fire?
Aye.
Peachy?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Randall?
Aye.
Tully?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Mr.
Second.
Peachy, second by Mr. Miller. On a voice vote, all in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you.